Section 6 of Hero and Leander. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Martin Geeson. Hero and Leander by Christopher Marlowe and George Chapman. Section 6. The third Sestiad by George Chapman. The argument. Leander to the envious light resigns his night sports with the night, and swims the Hellespont again. Thesme, the deity sovereign of customs and religious rites, appears reproving his delights, since nuptial honours he neglected, which straight he vows shall be effected. Fair Hero, left devirginate, weighs, and with fury wails her state, but with her love and woman's wit she argues, and approveth it. New light gives new directions, fortunes new to fashion our endeavours that ensue. More harsh, at least more hard, more grave and high our subject runs, and our stern muse must fly. Love's edge is taken off, and that light flame, those thoughts, joys, longings, that before became high unexperienced blood, and made sharp plights, must now grow staid, and censure the delights that, being enjoyed, ask judgment. Now we praise as having parted. Evenings crown the days. And now, ye wanton loves and young desires, pied vanity, the mint of strange attires, ye lisping flatteries and obsequious glances, relentful musics and attractive dances, and you detested charms constraining love, shun love's stolen sports, by that these lovers prove. By this the sovereign of heaven's golden fires, and young Leander, lord of his desires, together from their lovers' arms arose. Leander into Hellespontus throws his hero-handled body, whose delight made him disdain each other epithet. And so amidst the enamoured waves he swims, the god of gold, of purpose gilt his limbs, that this word gilt, including double sense, the double guilt of his incontinence might be expressed, that had no stay to employ the treasure which the love god let him joy in his dear hero with such sacred thrift, as had beseemed so sanctified a gift, but like a greedy vulgar prodigal, would on the stock dispend, and rudely fall before his time to that unblessed blessing, which for lust's plague doth perish with possessing. Joy graven in sense, like snow in water, wastes, without preserve of virtue nothing lasts. What man is he that with a wealthy eye enjoys a beauty richer than the sky, through whose white skin, softer than soundest sleep, with damask eyes the ruby blood doth peep, and runs in branches through her azure veins, whose mixture and first fire his love attains, whose both hands limit both love's deities, and sweeten human thoughts like paradise, whose disposition silken is and kind, directed with an earth-exempted mind, who thinks not heaven with such a love is given, and who, like earth, would spend that dower of heaven with rank desire to joy it all at first. What simply kills our hunger quencheth thirst, clothes but our nakedness, and makes us live. Praise does not any of her favours give, but what doth plentifully minister beauteous apparel and delicious cheer, so ordered that it still excites desire, and still gives pleasure freeness to aspire, the palm of bounty ever moist preserving. To love's sweet life this is the courtly carving. Thus time, and all states ordering ceremony, had banished all offence. Time's golden thigh upholds the flowery body of the earth in sacred harmony, and every birth of men and actions makes legitimate. Being used aright, the use of time is fate. Yet did the gentle flood transfer once more this prize of love home to his father's shore, where he unlades himself of that false wealth that makes few rich, treasures composed by stealth, and to his sister, kind Hermione, who on the shore kneeled, praying to the sea for his return, he all love's goods did show, in Hero seized for him, in him for Hero. His most kind sister all his secrets knew, and to her singing like a shower he flew, sprinkling the earth, that to their tombs took in streams dead for love, to leave his ivory skin, which yet a snowy foam did leave above, as soul to the dead water that did love. And from thence did the first white roses spring, for love is sweet and fair in everything. And all the sweetened shore, as he did go, was crowned with odorous roses, white as snow. Love blessed Leander was with love so filled, that love to all that touched him he instilled. And as the colours of all things we see to our sight's powers communicated be, so to all objects that in compass came of any sense he had, his senses' flame flowed from his parts with force so virtual, it fired with sense things mere insensual. Now with warm baths and odours comforted, when he lay down, he kindly kissed his bed, as consecrating it to Hero's rite, and vowed thereafter that whatever sight put him in mind of Hero or her bliss, should be her altar to prefer a kiss. Then laid he forth his late enriched arms, in whose white circle love writ all his charms, and made his character's sweet Hero's limbs. When on his breast's warm sea she sidling swims, and as those arms, held up in circle, met, he said, "See, sister, Hero's carcanet, which she had rather wear about her neck than all the jewels that do Juno deck. But as he shook with passionate desire to put in flame his other secret fire, a music so divine did pierce his ear, as never yet his ravished sense did hear, when suddenly a light of 20 hues brake through the roof, and like the rainbow views amazed Leander, in whose beams came down the goddess Ceremony, with a crown of all the stars, and heaven with her descended. Her flaming hair to her bright feet extended, by which hung all the bench of deities, and in a chain, compact of ears and eyes, she led religion. All her body was clear and transparent as the purest glass, for she was all presented to the sense. Devotion, order, state, and reverence her shadows were, society, memory, all which her sight made live, her absence die. A rich disparent pentacle she wears, drawn full of circles and strange characters. Her face was changeable to every eye, one way looked ill, another graciously, which while men viewed, they cheerful were and holy, but looking off, vicious and melancholy. The snaky paths to each observed law did policy in her broad bosom draw. One hand a mathematic crystal sways, which, gathering in one line 1,000 rays from her bright eyes, confusion burns to death, and all estates of men distinguisheth. By it morality and comeliness themselves in all their sightly figures dress. Her other hand a laurel rod applies, to beat back barbarism and avarice, that followed, eating earth and excrement and human limbs, and would make proud ascent to seats of gods, were ceremony slain. The hours and graces bore her glorious train, and all the sweets of our society were sphered and treasured in her bounteous eye. Thus she appeared, and sharply did reprove Leander's bluntness in his violent love, told him how poor was substance without rights, like bills unsigned, desires without delights, like meats unseasoned, like rank corn that grows on cottages, that none or reaps or sows, not being with civil forms confirmed and bounded, for human dignities and comforts founded, but loose and secret all their glories hide. Fear fills the chamber, darkness decks the bride. She vanished, leaving pierced Leander's heart with sense of his unceremonious part, in which, with plain neglect of nuptial rites, he close and flatly fell to his delights, and instantly he vowed to celebrate all rites pertaining to his married state. So up he gets, and to his father goes, to whose glad ears he doth his vows disclose. The nuptials are resolved with utmost power, and he at night would swim to Hero's tower, from whence he meant to Sestos' forked bay to bring her covertly, where ships must stay, sent by his father, throughly rigged and manned, to waft her safely to Abydos strand. There leave we him, and with fresh wing pursue astonish'd Hero, whose most wished view I thus long have forborne, because I left her so out of countenance, and her spirits bereft her. To look on one abash'd is impudence, when of slight faults he hath too deep a sense. Her blushing het her chamber, she look'd out, and all the air she purpled round about. And after it a foul black day befell, which ever since a red morn doth foretell, and still renews our woes for Hero's woe. And foul it proved, because it figured so the next night's horror, which prepare to hear. I fail if it profane your daintiest ear. Then ho! most strangely intellectual fire, that proper to my soul hast power to inspire her burning faculties, and with the wings of thy unsphered flame visit'st the springs of spirits immortal. Now, as swift as time doth follow motion, find the eternal clime of his free soul, whose living subject stood up to the chin in the Pierian flood, and drunk to me half this Musaean story, inscribing it to deathless memory. Confer with it, and make my pledge as deep, that neither's draught be consecrate to sleep. Tell it how much his late desires I tender, if yet it know not, and to light surrender my soul's dark offspring, willing it should die to loves, to passions, and society. End of Section 6. Recording by Martin Geeson in Hazelmere, Surrey.